Hello. So we want to find the x and y intercepts here. And to find the x-intercept, we always do the same thing for all functions. And so to find the x-intercept, we plug in 0 for y, because it's going to be x comma 0, and solve. The opposite is true for finding the y-intercept. It's plug in 0 for x. So that it's 0 comma y and solve. So we're going to solve using the same methods as before. Most of the time when we're finding the y-intercept, we don't necessarily have to solve. We'll more likely simplify. So for number 8, I want to find the x-intercept. That's going to be a little bit more time consuming, and then I'll go back and find the y-intercept. So the x-intercept. I'm going to make y equal to 0. So f of x and y are interchangeable, so I'm going to say 0 is equal to negative rad x minus 4 plus 9. So now I'm going to isolate the radical, and to do that, I'm going to subtract 9. And I have negative 9, negative rad x minus 4. So that's a negative 1 times the radical. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. That gives me positive 9 is equal to the square root of x minus 4. And to get rid of the radical, we square both sides. I get 81 is equal to x minus 4. I'll add 4 to solve. And I get 85 is equal to x. Let me verify that that works. 85 minus 4 is 81. Square root of 81 is 9. I've got the negative sign on that. Plus 9 is 0. So yes, the x-intercept is 85, comma 0. Simplifying the y-intercept, I've got negative rad. Plugging in 0 for x, it's negative 4 in the radical plus 9. Oh, so keep in mind this one would have a domain of 4 to infinity because the hk would be 4, comma 9. And so the domain is 4 to infinity. And that does not include 0. So x of 0 is not one of the values in this function, and we see that mathematically here. I've got negative 4, and the answer to that is an imaginary number. It would be 2i, and with the negative sign, plus 9, which is not a real number. It's an imaginary number. So for the y-intercept, I'll just write NA. It does not apply. Now, the domain and range of all cube root functions is negative infinity to infinity, so there will always be an x and a y-intercept for cube roots. But as we just saw, there might not be an x or a y-intercept for square root functions. All right, number 9. I'll plug in to find the x-intercept. I'll replace f of x with 0 is equal to 4 cube root of x, and then minus 5. So to isolate the cube root of x, I need to add 5 and then divide by 4. So adding 5, got 5 is equal to 4 cube root of x, divide by 4. And I'm going to have that fraction 5 over 4. I don't want to do the decimal because I'm not as comfortable taking decimals to exponents. And moving myself to the bottom, I've got that's equal to the cube root of x. So to get rid of cube root, we use cube power. And then in this case, I'm going to cube both the top and the bottom, and I'm going to get 125 over 64, comma 0. Checking to see that that works, the cube root of that would be 5 over 4. Timesing that by 4, it's 20, let's see, timesing that by 4, 5 over 4, timesing by 4, the 4's cancel, and I do minus 5, and yes, I get 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. Wonderful. finally, I'll do the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is almost mental math, right? For the y-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for x. So I've got 0 for x, and so that's going to be 4 times, the cube root of 0 is 0. So 4 times 0 minus 5. Oh, 4 times 0, that's 0. So I get the answer, -5, as my y-intercept. Wonderful. We've got 2 more to look at. All right, on number 10, let's find the x-intercept. X-intercept. It's a cube root, so we know that there will for sure be an x-intercept. So replacing the y with 0. That 0 is equal to negative cube root of x plus 2 minus 7. Adding 7 gives me 7 is equal to negative cube root of x plus 2. Getting rid of the negative sign with it dividing by -1, I've got -7 is equal to the cube root of x plus 2. Cubing both sides to get rid of cube root, I've got -343 is equal to x plus 2. Subtracting 2, I've got -345 is equal to x. Let me verify that in my calculator. So -345 plus 2 is -343. I'm going to do 3 second cube root, -343, enter. Good, I have the right answer. Oh, I got -7. Oh, then I times it by -1 and subtract 7. Wonderful. So, got -345, 0. When I go to find the y-intercept, I'm going to leave this answer as exact. I've got negative, so I've got y is equal to negative cube root of 0 plus 2 is 2 minus 7. There's not going to be a beautiful, simple answer for that because this expression here is irrational, meaning the decimal will go on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So I'm just going to actually leave it exactly like that. So I'm going to say 0, negative cube root of 2 minus 7. Good enough for me. And our last one. So our last one here is a square root function. So I know that there might not be an x-intercept and there might not be a y-intercept. When I look at the hk, because this is an hk form, I get -6 and -4 as my h and k. So this domain is -6 to infinity, and that does include 0. So this will have a y-intercept for a change. And let's start by finding the x-intercept. So erasing that. So I've replaced y with 0. I'm going to solve for the radical by isolating it with adding 4. And then I'm also going to divide by 3. So now I've got 4/3 is equal to rad x plus 6. To get rid of square root, I use square power. And just like before, I'm going to square the top and the bottom, which would give me 16 over 9. That's 16 over 9. Oops, I wrote it there. 16 over 9 is equal to x plus 6. Subtracting 6. In order to add those, it will be easier if I had the same denominator. So I'm going to change that to, we'll go this way, -6 times 9 over 9, because 9 divided by 9 is 1, so that's going to be -54 over 9 plus 16 over 9. Now they have the same denominator, and I can simplify. I simplified to get negative 38 over 9 comma 0. When I plug that back in as the x value, remember I'm expecting to get the answer of 0 when I replace that x back in. I put in negative 38 over 9, then I did plus 6, took the square root, multiplied it by 3, and I got 4 minus 4, so that worked out perfectly. Now I'm going to do the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, I again plug in 0 for x, and I can tell it's going to be 0 plus 6. So I've got 0, comma, and I've got 3, square root of 6 minus 4. The square root of 6 doesn't have a very beautiful answer, so I'm going to leave it as this. And there's my y-intercept and my x-intercept. And that would finish us out for today. Lots of work on these. Jeez Louise. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in class.